Hey folks, Ripito here. Hey, BJ's asked me to open up your virtual seed meeting this year, and doing so, I've got maybe three things I just want to share with you. One is the role of seed in a Wilbur Ellis strategy. Two is the value of Integra and the brands that are Wilbur Ellis brands. And three, just a word of counsel and observations about kicking off 2021. First of all, I look at the seed team a bit like I would look at the Marines in a battle. It's the first troops ashore. It's the first contact with the grower talking about the next season. We start this season, this market earlier than anything else. So you set the stage really for 2021. Hopefully, in that spirit, as you're having your seed discussions, we're also setting the stage for broader, deeper relationships with the customer, with fertility and crop protection. So it's extremely critical that you have a very good plan and that you go out with a broad-based approach so that we get them started off on the right foot. The value of Integra and the brands that Wilbur Ellis have in the portfolio, if you look around the industry, and it's much like with Costco. Costco doesn't have Kirkland in their offer because they just want to have a brand. They have Kirkland products in their offer because it's more profitable for them to sell them. But they'd also tell you that they need the macro brands, the big brands, the Procter & Gamble list and all the food company brands in there to hold the umbrella and to be able to allow a window of profit that's incremental to what they could do with the brands. It's the same with Integra. It's the same with the list of private labels and products that we would sell with branded technologies. It's important that we have that umbrella and that we have that mix of products that we can bolt onto to allow profit opportunity. Now, it's critical that we have the right genetics, obviously, and BJ and the team's done a great job of keeping us competitive there. But it will be increasingly important that Integra is an integral part of the seed offer to the customer in the Wilbur Ellis portfolio, because that is a profit opportunity that is more sustainable because it's not something they can take down the road to a competitor and get a price for Integra seed. So that's why it's so valuable to have that in the mix and have it positioned appropriately and to do everything we can to grow that, because what's going to happen is what we see in crop protection is margins are starting to erode, or have been eroding for years actually, on the brands that are sold, and that will continue to be the case with the DeKalb Pioneer brands. Therefore, we're going to have to bridge that margin gap and that erosion with Integra and growing that portfolio, not moving completely away from the major brands, but slowly moving toward a higher percentage sales with Integra than the major brands over time. Not the majority, but slowly make certain it's a critical component of the overall offer. And lastly, as you're entering 2021, I would just reinforce the point I made at the beginning, is understand this is first contact with the grower with the mindset of thinking about what he's going to do next year. Try to set the stage that there's an entire portfolio that we have, and this first stop is around seed. The other thing I would tell you is I believe this fall is going to be like the Wild West competitively. If you look across the earnings that are beginning to come out as of the last week or so, it's all over the place. I mean, some of the seed companies are showing growth, but they should have, because we've got several million acres more cropland in the Midwest. So inherently, you're going to have year-over-year growth in seed. On the crop protection side, not so much. We're starting to see those earnings reports coming out being kind of soft. Everyone, and that doesn't include July, and July has probably been a record soft year across the ag markets for the month of July. It's just there's been conservatism, there's some weather around that's softened the market, but overall, I think it's going to lead folks to a place that this fall they're going to be very aggressive. So we need you to set the stage to create a broad portfolio offer with the customer, knowing that we're going to be back to talk to them about fertility and crop protection and services across the country. And then lastly, it's very simple. and you're going to hear this over and over from BJ, it is be aggressive. And the more you are, the better we'll do, and the more share we'll gain, and the more success we'll have in 2021. Thank you, and I hope you have a good meeting.
Well, hi everybody, and welcome to the Seed Show. COVID-19 special because we have to do it virtually, but since I'm in a room now with just no camera people, just robotic cameras, I can take this off. But remember, safety first. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Seed Show. We've got such a digital way that we can do this now and have a little fun with it. We even have a fake laughter, so when I tell a bad joke, yeah, we can have laughter. Isn't that great? Great sound effects. Also, some clapping and cheering along the way. Hey, our thanks to Mark Ripito for starting this off the right way. And lots of energy from not only his office, but throughout our whole organization about seed. We really felt that. We had a really good year for seed in 2020. In fact, we put the hammer down in 2020. Take a look at it. First time ever, Wilbur Ellis has a market share point in corn sales. Big tip of the cap to you. Our soybean sales, yeah, flat, slightly up over last year, which is tremendous considering the marketplace. We did have some stumbles along the way with corn or cotton and canola, but overall a good year for seed in 2020. And thank you very much for that. So you think about that with our footprint and where we grew our business, where we're continuing to expand our business, but also internally as well. We were able to really set the strategic direction. And a lot of that is through our own brand, Integra. We grew 19% versus 2019. Big hats off to you, especially in corn sales. We got a lot more to come because we think a lot of acres are going to be coming back in line in North Dakota and then also in Texas for next year. We have a very, very strong brand that we need to continue to move and push forward. And when it comes to 2021, you know, the waters are really going to be wavy, are they not? I mean, when you think about it, we thought 2019 was so bad that 2020 offered us COVID and then put a 19 on top of it so we wouldn't forget how bad the weather was in 19. But in all seriousness, we have to change our direction and how we talk to our customers. And then, of course, how do we promote the things we want to get locked down? Well, I can tell you on the show today, I'd advise you to grab a pen, grab a paper, maybe even get your keyboard out and take down some notes because we have a wonderful show lined up for you to get you ready for 2021. You're going to be seeing some advertisements for Integra and the programs that we have to offer. We have tremendous support from a lot of our manufacturers, Bayer and Corteva. Our big thanks to them for helping us put on today's show too as well. And it just doesn't end with the national portion here this morning, but this afternoon we're going to be having our regional breakouts where we'll go brand by brand and get you ready for 2021. Then, of course, coming up tomorrow, it's all about the agronomy, the hybrids, the varieties that you're going to be offering, and the packages you can put together as Aaron Peterson will be going brand by brand, state by state, throughout the whole day coming up tomorrow. So, we have a lot to talk about as we think about 2021. We are going to retire Hammer Down, okay? It's a sad day. Right there in my heart. But when I think about it, for 2021, what should be our call to action? It's to be in ag. There is no industry that's under more fire right now than the agricultural industry. So we want to be ag, but we also want to be aggressive as we go charge into 2021. So our rally cry, hashtag be aggressive. So let's lead and be aggressive out in the marketplace. Go talk to your loyal customers that you've had for years. There's such an urgency right now to lock down orders early. So let's do it. Let's have some fun in doing it. We've got some exciting offers and opportunities out there. So hashtag be aggressive. So having said that, again, we've got special guests coming up. Vice President of Sales, Ryan Clavino. Vice President of Operations, Brent McGowan, will walk us through this next year and beyond. Plus, we're going to talk about a little what are the suppliers doing with Vice President of Supplier Relations and Procurement, Steve Henning, plus much, much more. And also this guy who's now joining us, our man in the field. Joining us right now is Aaron Peterson. Hey, you look very relaxed. Did you have your cup of coffee already this morning?
I did, BJ. I had my triple shot, and I'm ready to be aggressive.
Aaron, what's the 2021 Integra lineup look like?
So really excited about the 2021 lineup. We had a lot of success coming out of this last year. We had some things that we wanted to build upon. We had a great pipeline. Really excited for a couple of these products to really get out, especially as we start expanding our regions. Really excited about this lineup.
What sets Integra apart from other brands?
I think the one thing that really sets us apart, I know a lot of people want to talk about being local, but I mean, we really take that really personal, or I take it very personal. So a couple of things that is standing out to me this year. It's always fun to see some differentiation out in the plots. So whenever we get some weather, we get some stress, and see how these products are handling it. So already really excited to see how these products and some of our new products that are coming down, how they're handling it compared to some of the competitors that they're going against right now regionally. So love what I'm seeing so far, and I'm really excited to get these out into the field.
Well, it looks like your audience is all ears.
That's a good dad joke.
All right. We'll catch up with you in a little bit. Wow, we've had some exciting changes. We've had some additions here to the seed team. I want to introduce you to everyone that's on our seed team right now.
Best deals with Integra Seed? Pay in cash, get 25% off SRP. Second best deal with Integra Seed is 0% financing with John Deere and get 20% off SRP. These deals are good all year, so let's be aggressive.
One thing I value more on my farm than high yields is consistently high yields. That's why I plant Asgrow.
Stay out in front with the consistent performance of Asgrow brand soybeans, offering 100% exclusive genetics and a system of tailored integrated solutions to help you maximize profitability. Acre to acre, year to year, generation to generation. Ask your dealer how much further you can grow when Asgrow leads the way.
Hi, I'm Lisa Granadino. I'm the Regional Business Lead for Nebraska, Kansas, and Colorado. I am brand new in my role, and so I've not worked with any of you in the past. But everything that I've ever heard about Wilbur Ellis has been absolutely positive. And so first and foremost, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for the work that you've done. Thank you for the partnership that you've had with Bayer. I look forward to working with you in the future, and I look forward to continuing that partnership. So as we move forward, I hope you have a wonderful meeting. I hope that you and your families stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
So Harvest Bounty is the new brand for Wilbur Ellis. Our focus is going to be on the non-GMO corn, soybeans, basically the non-GMO market in its whole. You know, for 2021, we're going to have a great offering. Non-GMO corn, non-GMO soybeans, our traditional cover crops, and then our cereal grains, the rye, the triticale. So great offering to start. The future looks bright for us as we continue to offer the wheat, alfalfa, Pima cotton, vegetables. Plus, we will also be looking at some other products as time goes on. So we're in a good spot as we start our new brand. You know, the expectations for Harvest Bounty, we are fortunate that Wilbur Ellis has expanded into this way ahead of starting the brand. We have some product offerings in the corn and soybeans that honestly are surprising. As we start Harvest Bounty, we will have some hiccups here and there. We will address them, but we are going to start pretty lean. We're going to start from the ground up, and it will be a slow process. We are going to grow rapidly. Our producers are accepting this sustainable ag model strongly, and we're going to have to rapidly grow with them. But it is important that we do get our foundation in underneath of us. And do please help us as we continue to build this, that open criticism is greatly accepted and will be addressed as the time comes on. So all in all, we thank you guys for everything you've done this past year. We look forward to 2021. And again, thank you.
Welcome back. Got to really appreciate that band, right? Well, as the music beats on, we're getting you ready for 2021 seed sales as the season is right upon us. And pretty exciting times that we're in right now, as we discussed at the opening of the show. And I personally can't wait to hit the field along with you to generate activity here for 2021. It's got to happen, right? It's going to happen. So we want to get out there and have a lot of fun. Well, we do have some special guests as we promised. And joining us right now is the Vice President of Sales, Ryan Clavino, who joins us. And Ryan, I know that COVID-19 has changed a lot of our normals, but how do you think our customer interactions are going to be changing?
Well, so first of all, thanks, BJ, for reaching out. Sorry we couldn't be together this year. And if you'll permit me, BJ, I want to congratulate our team on a great 2020. Look, given all the headwinds, it appears that we gained share in both corn and beans. BJ, I think we talked about one share point with Integra. That is a milestone. That's an incredible accomplishment. So, cotton and canola was certainly tough this year, but great year overall, and appreciate the hard work. Related to the COVID questions, man, it's a tough one to get it every day. I mean, certainly interactions, obviously they're more remote. I was just reading a Farm Journal survey. I think it came out just a couple weeks ago that 50% of our farmers are concerned about having folks on their farm given COVID. So I think we need to be cognizant of that. And let's be clear, I mean, COVID is likely to be with us, certainly for this fall season. and likely going into next spring. So what does that mean? I mean, obviously we're going to have to interact with our customers differently. So it's phone, it's text, it's email. Probably some of you out there are using Teams, Zoom, and FaceTime to interact. BJ, I love some of the work that you and the Integra team do with YouTube and social media, but those are all ways for us to interact with customers. I think the one thing that we need to think about is the prospecting piece, right? So if you think about how that's done, that's building relationships, that's face-to-face with customers. And man, it is tough to do with COVID right now. So I think we need to think through that. So scheduling phone calls, think about the data and the information that we want to provide for our customers. I'd suggest, and look, I get it, some of these customers, these farmers, doing something like a Teams or a Zoom is foreign to them. But the reality is it does make it more personal, and I'd highly encourage it. And look, we know there's a big segment of young farmers out there that prefer to use those tools. So I'd encourage our folks to do that. And the other good news, too, that we know from some of the market research that we've done is those younger farmers on the farm, maybe it's a father that's 70 plus years old and his son is 30 or 40. The younger ones are actually the ones making the input decisions on seed. So take advantage of those tools like Teams and Zoom if it works for you. The other thing, too, on sales prospecting, it's a math game, right? It takes on average of 5 conversations with a new prospect before they even consider buying. So we got to get out early. We got to have those conversations. The other thing too, BJ, I'll talk on that we're talking about within the marketing group as it relates to maybe a little bit of COVID, but more about how we're going to approach different customers. If you think about, your typical sole proprietor, individual farmer, sometimes a mom and pop, for them, how they want to approach and how they want to communicate is it's baseball, hot dog, apple pie, and Chevrolet, right? So it's relationship. It's focused on the industry. What did we do last year in terms of seed purchases? What's the neighbor doing? That's the approach with them. On the other hand, down the road are those, we call them the alphas, right, in terms of the personas. The more business buyers. They're going to focus on performance of those hybrids or varieties that we're selling. It's going to be anchored in data, information, ROI. So we're working on this with a marketing team to help with our sales approach. The reality is we need to alter how we communicate and how we carry on our discussions with different personas or different growers based upon how they're segmented and how they want to be communicated with. So, overall on COVID, certainly challenging. Going to be a lot more remote. I certainly believe, certainly for this fall, and we're going to have to work on new techniques in order to pick up customers and prospects. So we need to work on that certainly here in the next few months.
Hey, what's the potential that 2021 has to offer?
Yeah, that's a good question, BJ. And certainly the ag economy is tough right now. I mean, if you what you read, what you hear, what folks are feeling in the field, it's a bit of doom and gloom, right? COVID, commodity prices, certainly for us in retail, there's fierce competition. But let's be clear, farmers are going to do what they've always done, and that is raise a crop. I mean, does anybody doubt that, from fence row to fence row, from Texas to North Dakota, there's going to be a crop grown in 2021. There will be a market, and I'm certainly still bullish on agriculture in Wilbur Ellis. What's 2021 have to offer? Hopefully a fresh start, right? 2020 has been a beast with COVID. It's been brutal, and hopefully we can move on. I think 2021 should allow us to take better advantage of our new Wilbur Ellis structure. So our sales organization focused on sales. BJ, you've done a great job, our seed team, of building our seed structure. Operations focused on operations. And just overall further development of our team. From a marketing perspective, as I mentioned a bit ago, we're working really hard to develop out those customer value propositions and to be able to work in partnership with our sales team in terms of both how we target and communicate to each customer segment. So BJ, learning a lot from you and the Integra team on social media, YouTube, Twitter, all of that's really, really good stuff. For Integra, Harvest Bounty, the good news is we've got one more year under our belt in terms of, hybrid development, variety development. That's all good news. We'll continue to grow and build on that and take advantage of our success in 2020. And the other thing, for me, I love the seed kickoff where we are now. The reality is we're starting 2021 right now as we go. So I think it's really important that we get after it and we get after it early. I talked at the GM meetings in January about Formula One, right? The importance of getting to that first corner first gives you the highest probability of success. I think it's really important that we continue to lead with a strong sense of urgency. We're seeing some of the publicly traded companies release their financials for the first half of this year, and it doesn't look great overall. So it's going to be really competitive out there this fall, and there's going to be a lot of folks wanting to get out there and get business and grab share from us. So we got to get out there early. We got to get aggressive and go for it.
Ryan, where do you see acres shifting in 2021?
I think it's a good question, BJ. We could probably debate this all day, all night long. Is corn going to be above 90 million acres? Is it going to be 100 million? Look, corn's probably going to be down slightly, 90 million-ish acres. Soybeans will probably be up, probably going to be over 85, 86. Cotton's going to be tough at current prices. But let's take another angle at it. If we look at the U.S. ag input market, so this would be fertilizer, seed and traits, crop protection, and then services. It's a $64 billion market in the U.S. And seeds and traits, I don't know if folks know this, is the largest of those product champions. It's a little over 20 billion of the 64. So it is a big market. It is massive. And the bulk of that, as you all know, it's corn, beans, cotton. So the market's big, and I don't see a dramatic change in terms of market size. Yeah, there might be some acres that shift here and there, but it's still going to be a very sizable market. And we've got one share point. So we've got 99% of the market available to us. So let's get after it. Farmers are going to plant corn. They're going to plant soybeans, and there's going to be a lot of it. We have relatively small shares. So for me, BJ, I know you're the same way, probably everybody that is participating in this seed kickoff. We all have the same view. Market's out there. Let's get after it. Farmers are going to plant. So let's go work with them, make them profitable, and get the business for Wilbur Ellis as well.
Well, as you know, as manufacturers look to go more direct and bundle their offerings, and they're really starting to tighten down rebates, where do you see Integra and Harvest Bounty playing a role?
I think that's a good question, BJ. I mean, clearly what we're seeing with the manufacturers going more direct, offering their bundles, tightening up the rebates, they are clearly not happy with their business. They're not. They're wanting to take matters into their own hands. Now, the good news is we own the high ground on agronomic advice. We can pull from multiple toolboxes and not just a Bayer or a Corteva or a Syngenta toolbox. So quite frankly, we can execute our own bundle: seed, fertility, crop protection, our great branded tech portfolio to help our customers raise the best product, use the best inputs, and make the most money for them. For me, the role of Integra and Harvest Bounty, I love it. First of all, it's interesting to me to see the success of the regional seed brands in light of, the regional seed brands are attacking share from both Syngenta specifically. Of course, we've seen Pioneer struggle and Decal. So that continued success of which we're participating in, it's interesting to see that. The role of Integra and Harvest Bounty, it allows us to tell our story. I love, BJ, the tone of Integra, right? The hammer down. It's fun. It's get after it. It's helped growers be profitable and successful. The other piece of it too, and I guess I think this is why those regional brands are being successful, is they're certainly more local, they're more customized. That's how seed is sold. It's not from a massive marketing campaign or an advertising campaign. It's one-to-one with our customers in their fields. That's how it's sold, and I think that's why the regional brands have been a success and why Integra specifically and Harvest Bounty are going to be a success as well. The other piece too that I see for the role of Integra and Harvest Bounty, and this gets back to the customer piece, and it's about the brand ladder. The reality is Integra and Harvest Bounty provide a different rung on the brand ladder, right? We talk about brand ladder. It's usually from the ultra high priced Cadillacs down to something that's more economical towards the bottom. And what we're learning is that not every customer wants that high priced, fully traded, high genetics package like you see in like a DeKalb, so the Cadillac type of a product. The customer persona work would tell us that many growers don't want that. And it's actually those business buyers, those alphas that are focused on return on investment, they're good with a high-performing regional brand like Integra that can deliver them both the performance and the yield that they're looking for and not have to pay that extremely high price that we're seeing with some of these the DeKalbs of the world as an example. So that's what I see as the role of Integra in Harvest Bounty. It's local, it's customized, it allows Wilbur Ellis to differentiate, and it's a great offer for our customers that aren't always looking for that Ferrari or Cadillac in their portfolio.
Hey, thanks a lot, Ryan, for joining us here on The Seed Show. Looking forward to working with you here in 2021.
Thanks, BJ. Appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on. Thanks for the conversation.
All right, let's go back to our man in the field to talk some more Integra and Harvest Bounty. Here's our national seed agronomist, Aaron Peterson. Aaron, you're moving from corn to soybeans.
Yeah, so, a lot of, it's not really a secret right now. There's a lot of, what's going to happen in the trade world of soybeans right now. I think Integra is set up in a really great place. Still building upon that solid foundation of Xtend, but as we move into, what's Xtend going to look like, we have a great E3 platform, and then also just waiting approval for XtendFlex as well too, BJ.
Aaron, what's our supply look like?
So that's always the $1 million question, BJ, but I feel that we're in a really good place. Like I said, just waiting for those approvals on XtendFlex, but we have a nice introductory line of XtendFlex and that supply, a great supply of Xtend, and then our E3, especially where we were really strong in E3, we're sitting really great, and I think we definitely have the ability to expand out into some of these new regions where E3 is probably going to gain some market share this coming year.
Hey, are you done moving around?
I'm always someplace, BJ. You're going to catch me. Maybe I'll be in an almond grove next time you catch me.
All right, Aaron, we'll try to catch up with you in a little bit. Hey, the Seed Show will continue to roll along, again, getting you ready for the 2021 seed selling season. When we come back, we're going to talk a little operations. That's next here on The Seed Show.
Integra loves its loyal customers so much that we fortify our relationship by tucking an extra $10 discount on every bag of corn and $3 on every soybean unit. Hurry, this offer is only good until November 15th.
Hello, Wilbur Ellis. I'm Greg Weber with Bayer Crop Science. I live in Fresno, California, and I'm the regional business lead for our West region. What that means is I manage our crop protection business as well as our seed and trait business for the Western United States. I've been with Bayer for over 23 years, and I've worked all over the United States. Everywhere I've worked, there's been a large presence of Wilbur Ellis. In fact, when I started as a sales rep in Yakima, Washington, my very first grower meeting was a Wilbur Ellis event at the Yakima Convention Center. As a young rep, I was thinking, okay, I come from a farm. Should be easy to talk to farmers. Handful of growers go in, talk about latest updates on products, have some barbecue, and have a good day. I walked in and you had over 500 growers at your grower event. Going forward, I think that Wilbur Ellis, if you continue to separate yourself from the competition by bringing service, expertise, and value in an honorable way, is going to keep you far ahead of the competition. I want to thank you for your partnership and the years of service. Good luck and have a great rest of your week. Thank you.
Seedware is an industry specialized software solution that's really built for day-to-day needs for any seed company and a seed business. So what's great about Seedware is, and that's why we use it, is we're able to do our supply ordering, it's fulfillment, we can do allocations. All of our reporting can be done right out of Seedware for when it comes to Integra. So Seedware is also, it's a sales platform, so it is available anywhere where your sales force is, anywhere our employees are within Wilbur Ellis, with any device that is a web browser.
The main reason is we needed a platform to replace My Monsanto, which is being retired, or has been retired, and we need a way to communicate our demand and planning needs to Bayer. So Seedware was the natural transition platform since we were using it for Integra, and Bayer is our first partner, and we hope to have our other third-party B2B partners added here in 2021. One of the things that we're trying to get done is have Seedware, the transactional piece, to the end user in JDE connect to Seedware, so we can have the two systems communicating with each other, and we can have a live visibility. Now, the question on how the seed order gets entered into JDE, I think the preferred method is going to be through AgVertic, and it flows through Pros, then to JDE when it becomes an order. We just need to be able to have that information communicate with Seedware so that we can tie the whole transaction and everybody's got full visibility of seed inventory at the time of the transaction.
Awesome. We're excited about the training program coming out with Seedware. So since we're expanding it through the whole company, we have already done what we call as a session 1 training, and we concluded that last week within our 4 regions. We did a session 1 that included just the basic overview of Seedware, what you can expect from Seedware, how to log into Seedware. We showed everybody all of the reports, the great widgets that are available, where you can find the help sheets. Our next session is going to be called session 2. We're going to break that out when it comes to the regions again, and we're going to do that about the middle of September, team. So what we're going to do there is we will actually show you how to enter orders. We're going to show you where you can find availability of the seed that has been allocated to you, and all of those reports that you can do. So then we will train you on how to actually go about and right into the sale season. So, and then we are looking at our training. Then when it comes to Seedware /B2B on the Bayer side, that training will be separated. And we'll also start that training about the end of September, first part of October, after testing is completed. So lots of exciting new training opportunities coming up for everybody in the company when it comes to Seedware.
My name is Christopher Sparks. I'm a third-generation farmer in northern Cameron County, just right outside of Harlingen. My wife and I own and operate CJ Farms. We grow cotton, corn, grain, sorghum, and sesame, both Hidalgo and Cameron County. I've enjoyed cotton as a little child on the family farm. You know, when cotton harvest would come, I'd look forward to it all summer. It's been in my blood and my roots, and it won't leave. Growing cotton's fun. It's something different every week. You grow other crops, but cotton, it's the neatest crop to grow to see the end product. Not everything is going to fit for the Rio Grande Valley, but Phytogen has a fit in the Rio Grande Valley, for sure, without a doubt. I've been working with Phytogen right at 10 years now, and I've tried other things in the past, but my Phytogen acres have always consistently treated me well. I know how to manage it, I know how it fits on my farm. It's returned a profit to me well. Why change when something's fitting? And I like the new technology that Phytogen's coming out with. I'm confident that it will work. I like the new varieties, I like the lineup, and I like the customer support that I have. I strive to say that we farm it very efficiently. We try to be as efficient as we possibly can in every pass and every task. Phytogen in this area for the past 10 years has returned more of a profit, I think, to a lot of growers. Without a farmer, this country's not going to run. We need water, we need air, but we need a farmer.
Man, we are flying by with the Seed Show. Thank you so much for tuning in here this morning. I hope you're getting pumped up for the 2021 seed selling season. You know, a lot of us can sell it. Not many of us can ship it, bill it, and get everything done in a timely fashion. Well, this guy certainly leads the way. Here's the VP of Operations, Brent McGowan, now joining us. And Brent, thanks for being a part of the show. And you know, the buzz phrase amongst Wilbur Ellis is operational effectiveness. How would you describe it?
You know, BJ, I would call operational effectiveness, I would call it how we balance our customers' experience with the safety and well-being of our people and resource efficiency. For those of you that don't know, I played soccer all my life. I'm a big triangle guy, and I think the 3 points of the triangle for operational effectiveness are going to be that balance. Again, customers' experience, safety and well-being of our people, and resource efficiency.
Why are we focusing on that?
You know, the real issue that we have, BJ, is over the last 5 years, our margin generation, our revenue and margin generation has been relatively flat. We have typically traded between 2.1 and, well, between 2 and 2.1 billion in revenue, generating in the neighborhood of $460 million of net margin as a company. The issue is during that same time, our expenses have grown. They've grown from in the neighborhood of 16% of revenue to about 19% of revenue. So our expenses are growing at a time where our business seems to be somewhat flat. We have got to change that curve. And the metric that we're watching very closely is called gross margin coverage. And the gross margin coverage is basically the gross margin percent of our revenue minus the operating expense percent of our revenue. And that gap is one that we're wanting to influence.
How is success going to be measured?
I think from an operations perspective, that's a very key statistic because it really takes into consideration what the market will bear. And what I mean by that is this. If you're in a strong wholesale business and you can generate X percent of sales and margin, you need an operational system that meets your objectives from a customer commitment perspective. Also ensures, again, as we talked earlier, the safety and well-being of our people. That's a no-brainer. That's baseline. But has to use our resources in such a way that it generates a profit in the market that you're participating in. That's the resource efficiency aspect. Gross margin coverage captures that. If you're in high-value wine grapes on the West Coast, your cost of doing business might be much higher. But if you can generate a margin as a percentage of revenue that it allows you to do all the things that your customer requires to be successful, the gross margin coverage ratio will capture that. And that's why we're looking at it, because the ratio flexes by the business model. So whether it's seed, whether it's chemistry, whether it's wholesale, whether it's beans, or whether it's specialty crops, that gap between your gross margin percent as a percentage of revenue and your operating expense as a percentage of revenue, that gap will show you how sustainable your business is.
You know, how does operations support customer centricity?
You know, BJ, the thing that we watch really closely is how does our customer define their experience, right? And I believe that the customer defines their experience by interacting with 3 separate entities within our company. Without question, the customer interacts with our sales and marketing professionals, right? They work on their agronomic needs, they work on their product selection, they work on their crop planning. Sales and marketing is really, really imperative about how we choose what hill we're going to take with each customer. But the customer will also define success or failure in terms of their experience in how they interact with our supply chain professionals. That's our delivery and warehousing capacity, our blending fertilizer. Is it the right product at the right time? Is it supporting their business, or is it causing their business to wait for us, which is unacceptable? And then, of course, there's the administrative operations. They think about how they place orders with us, what their bill looks like, who they ask questions of. And so really, different from sales and marketing, I do believe that the customer spends time thinking about how they engage with Wilbur Ellis in our supply chain operations and administrative operations. Now, those 3 touch points with the customer will define the customer's experience, but remember, they are supported by all of our operations, or all of our entities that try to keep us in compliance, that give us information about our business and whatnot. And I'm thinking about EH&SS, I'm thinking about our people and culture team, purchasing, our IT group, finance and accounting. I can think of many, many more that support those efforts. But I believe the customer defines their experience by those 3 touch points.
What's 2021 and beyond look like?
From an operations perspective, BJ, we're focused on a number of things, but I would say the functions that we spend a lot of time thinking about every day are how we plan, source, make, store, deliver, apply, and return the products and services that we offer to the customer. The funny thing is, we as an organization have been very traditional in our approach, and it's really an industry issue. It's not a Wilbur issue. All of those things have a tendency to come together at the individual location. And then we do all of our last mile activities between the individual location and the customer. However, we have a tendency to socialize our supply chains. I think about our supply chains because those functions that I mentioned earlier, plan, source, make, store, deliver, apply, and return, those are all supply chain functions. We have a tendency to socialize those things amongst product groupings. And in reality, we have 8 very unique supply chains that we offer the customer of products and services. And they are, branded manufacturing, branded seed, packaged ag and pro products, bulk chemistry, bulk seed, NH3, bulk fertilizer, dry and liquid. Those 8 supply chains all have very unique things in it, particularly when you get into the make, store, deliver, and apply perspective. Those 4 functions really segregate those 8 supply chains. We as an organization, if we really want to maximize our resource utilization, our resource efficiency, which was one of the points that I had mentioned earlier when I talked about the definition of operational effectiveness. If we're going to really be resource efficient, we're going to have to look at each one of those supply chains separately, which means we have to think about our operations and our delivery capacity and our storage capacity and whatnot very different. I don't think that the last mile activity or the last mile cost of delivering LTL dry bulk fertilizer is the same as packaged goods, right? We don't store them in the same warehouses. We don't use the same blending capacity. The same trucks and trailers don't haul them. And so we've got to look at those very differently. Do we need packaged goods at every location? I don't know that we do. Do we need dry bulk fertilizer at every location? I don't know we do. And then if you think about our vertically integrated aspects of our branded offering, both branded adjuvants, surfactants, nutritional products, and then branded seed, which is a very different supply chain in how we source genetics and we grow it out and do the seed conditioning and offer that product to the market. We've got to think about our supply chains differently. I think we are leaving opportunity on the table. I really think we can do it different and get a better result. And I actually think that better result will improve the customer experience and be more efficient in terms of how we operate. But it's going to require thinking differently if we're going to be successful. I think in 2021 and beyond, that's our real opportunity in the marketplace.
Hey, thanks, Brent, for dropping the knowledge on us here today.
Not a problem, BJ, man. It's always a pleasure to spend a little time with you and talk about the business.
You know, there are so many things that are wonderful about Wilbur Ellis, and especially our seed portfolio. We have probably the broadest, most robust offering out of anybody in the industry. You know, when I look at everything that we offer, one of the best kept secrets we have at Wilbur Ellis is our STP corn. It's patented. It's ours. We offer it. It's silage corn. And looky who's standing by. The STP corn, Aaron Peterson.
All right, BJ, I got you. Yeah, I'm up here in Michigan with Jessica Rader. So, Jessica, tell us a little about where we're at, what we're doing here.
So, welcome to Poamo, Michigan. We're at Simon Dairy, looking at their STP plot.
So we'll talk real quick about some highlights of STP. And so as you can see, we have 4888, which is what I call a good dual-purpose type hybrid. And then we got 4810, which is one of our STP flowery leafy. So just looking at it with the eyeball, you can see there's quite a height difference. So we talked about tonnage. Also, one of the things that we like about it, and especially right now with the economic environment that we're in, we can make that tonnage and we can make that quality off a lesser population. So STPs, they like a more moderate to lower type population. So, you know, we can do the same kind of work with 28 to 30,000 plants as what some of these dual purpose plants are pushing 35, 40, 45,000 population. And we can have better quality because we have less lignin, because we have less stalks out there. So speaking of lignin, again, kind of a lower lignin type of plant, but we have good stalk quality. We don't have to worry about some of the issues that we think of with BMR. Another thing is, you know, we'll talk a lot about 10 leaves above the ear. Okay, now that's an average. You know, you might see 11 leaves above the ear, or maybe even 12 or 13 leaves above the ear, but on average we'll see typically about 10 leaves above the ear. And that's important because when we think about where is that ear position and does that have an effect on feed quality. So when we think about the good stuff, the good feed, that's coming from the ear and above. The lower quality feed is coming below the ear. That's where all the lignin is at. So if we can get more leaves above the ear, so that's where you're going to see a little bit lower ear placement, and you're going to see more leaves above the ear. If we can have an average of 10 leaves above this ear versus more of a grain hybrid or a dual purpose type hybrid, where we might only have 5 or 6 leaves above the ear. A couple other highlights with STP is short storage period. Again, so you know we can harvest a lot of more dual purpose type hybrids. You know, we want to have quite a few months in the pits or ensilage process before that feed is really ready to go. It might be upwards of 6 months before that feed is ready to go, where an STP is probably looking at about 60 days and it's ready to be fed. So as we start thinking about you know, turning bunkers over, or if we're getting short on storage period, that's where the STP really can kind of shine as well too. And the other big one, and this is where we really stress, is digestible starch. Okay, so a lot of hybrids, especially the dual purpose type of hybrids, they talk a lot about starch percentage, but they don't talk as much about actual digestible starch. What can that animal actually extract from that plant when we think about starch, and what does that mean for milk production?
Okay, Aaron, tomorrow is your day, state by state, going through all of our products, both corn, soy, even STP corn, state by state, all day. Hopefully you've gotten your invite already to be a part of that. If you haven't, make sure you contact Aaron Peterson himself and he'll make sure that you get that invite. When we come back, we are going to take a look at our suppliers and what's in store for 2021 and beyond. That's next here on The Seed Show.
A history of success means proven performance. But let's call performance what it is: profitability. And boosting yours, especially during a challenging season, is the goal of DeKalb brand corn. Backed by exclusive genetics and digitally enabled whole farm solutions, let nothing shake your perseverance. Ask your dealer how DeKalb can help you realize a future of performance.
Hello everyone, Allison Moskal here. I want to congratulate you on celebrating 100 years of a successful and expanding business. I'm a strategic account lead and I work with Jason, Rick, and Ryan, and I look forward to working with you in the future. When I reviewed the Wilbur Ellis key pillars of integrity, diversity, effort, accountability, and service, integrity stands out to me. I would like to quote the Wilbur Ellis integrity statement. We hold ourselves to the highest business standards and the highest moral standards in all internal and external relationships. With that integrity, any relationship will break and dissolve. When Wilbur recruited and then hired you, they did so for the integrity that you bring to their business. It is your cornerstone, and what we at Bayer value so much in the partnership with Wilbur Ellis. With this continued focus on these core pillars and continuing to innovate while maintaining such high standards, I have no doubt that you and Wilbur Ellis will continue to be successful long into the future. Congratulations.
Here's the new Integra Seed Corn Customer Program. You must buy 24 units or more. For Double Pro SRP, less $90 equals your price. For Smart Stacks, SRP, less $110, that equals your price. That's it, that's the offers. Now go be aggressive! Okay, I can feel it. We're moving right along. The Seed Show continues on. Thanks for being a part of it here today. Coming up later this afternoon, don't forget, we're going to be having our regional breakouts. You should have already received an invite for that, but we'll be able to dive in a lot deeper, brand by brand, getting you ready for 2021. Good stuff here, and thanks again for being a part of it. Speaking of brand by brand, when we look at our borrowed brands, we certainly have a lot to offer, and they give us some tremendous support. Joining us right now is my boss, and also the Vice President of Supplier Relations and Procurement, Steve Henning. And Steve, when I look at COVID-19, how has the supply chain been affected by it?
Well, BJ, I think generally speaking, we didn't see the disruption of supply as we thought we would originally, or we originally feared when this COVID pandemic started to take form. We felt there'd be a lot more disruption, and we really didn't see it. At an early stage, the channel in general really, including Wilbur, took a proactive approach in securing supply. So I think the channel and the marketplace thought there would be more disruption and more supply issues than there was, and everybody took a proactive approach. And just speaking what Wilbur did, we looked at about 60 to 90 days supply. So we tried to stay out in front about 60, 90 days to the forecast, the sales forecast, and to make sure we had that either in a hub or at a branch as close to our customer as possible. And in some cases, we even were able to get that all the way to the customer. So again, like a lot of people in the channel, we took a very proactive approach on supply because we were afraid there was going to be some disruptions with COVID. We felt that the market would have a significant supply shortages and constraints and or long lead times due to this early buying. So not only did everybody take an approach to secure supply, in addition to that, we even had a fear that because of this early buying and everybody being proactive, we felt that was actually going to even more accelerate a supply issue because with everybody buying more than they needed and way more than we would normally have gotten out in front of a season, we felt those supply shortages, constraints would kick in, or even like a longer lead time from our suppliers would step in and also have an incremental impact to just supply in general. So those are the two things we factored in. And like I said, we took an approach to get out in front of it as best we could. I think the interesting piece to me, though, BJ, when I look at this is that, there's several, we didn't have that supply issue, really. Now, there were always ins and outs, a brand here or a little bit here and there, but we generally have that every year anyway. But we didn't really have anything surface as a big area of concern. And I think there's several factors that contributed to that. 2019, if we back up, 2019 was just a poor year, generally speaking, in our broadacre markets, and especially for some of our area. We had record preventative plant acres, and really as a result of that, the channel came into 20 with a lot of inventory. We had a high inventory to begin with, and frankly, that inventory has been every year kind of building because of the lack of demand or really the lack of growth in the market that we haven't seen in a while. So there was a high inventory position coming into 20. I think the suppliers, another factor that allowed us to have the supply we wanted, that the suppliers planned on a significant rebound, if you will, in acres from 2019, and I think they produced accordingly. They produced for double-digit growth in most cases, and so therefore that also put a little bit more supply in the market. And the final one that I think probably contributed was that we just didn't have the demand, the CP demand, especially, and probably even seed and fertilizer in some cases was just down in certain markets, but mainly crop protection. The other thing that I think that contributed to that, BJ, was that if we go back a little bit to 19 and even 18, 19, we had constraints around supply, especially around crop protection, because the Chinese, where a lot of our CP products come from, a lot of actives or inerts and things like that, they've had an effort over the last several years on their environmental issues and really working on their environmental initiatives and factors. And that starting back in 17 going into 18 and 19, most suppliers are starting to diversify their manufacturing. So instead of having all their eggs in Chinese, from a Chinese manufacturing and formulation or that type of basket, they were starting to build that out into other areas. So I think that trend of diversifying their supply chain has helped us as well. And, now when I start looking ahead, one of the things that I think we will see a change from this potentially, and I think it's good, is that, a lot of suppliers were moving to a just-in-time inventory, BJ. So what I mean by that is they're going to build their manufacturing processes, production plans on a global scale, to have product produced and available as close to the use period as possible. Now, that in itself creates problems, especially if markets are early or late, but especially if they're early. because if you're planning a use period of, say, August 1 or March 1, sometimes in our markets, we can be 2 to 3 weeks earlier than that. And so then that can lead to constraints as well. So I think what we'll start to see is a lot of our supply chain will start to look at, is that just-in-time trend or mentality sustainable with the new, if this environment continues for longer. So we'll see that as an impact potentially. And then, you know, my final comment on this question would be, I just want to thank our teams again for all the effort during this pandemic. I mean, we have really, for the most part, have very little disruption to our customers. And that just, to me, speaks highly of our teams, the teams we have, the people we have, and the caliber of effort they put into this whole situation for us to go through our market year now and really not have any hiccups and constraints to speak of.
Well, as manufacturers look to continue to go more direct, how does this affect our partnerships in the future?
Well, that's a loaded question, BJ. Well, there's no doubt that that's ramping up. Maybe what I'll do is I'll take a stab at maybe looking at this question two ways. One is why? Why are they ramping up in this area? So I've got several thoughts on that, and there's more. I'm just going to highlight a couple. But R&D companies are seeing a lot lower return on their R&D investment. So the amount of money they're using to research and development, they're getting a lower return on that. And in the financial world, that's not good for them because they've got an expectation to return a certain amount off of that R&D investment. So I think what's contributing a lot to that is you're just not seeing this new chemistry developing. And when you do see new chemistry coming out, it's not really novel or new. You're not seeing new actives. You're not seeing these what I call step changes technically. So you've got this real technical position that this active has. It separates it out, that creates a value add, if you will, an ability to extract more value. And quite frankly, the uncertain regulatory environment. When you wrap all that in, I think that's contributing to why our suppliers are looking at this avenue of going direct. Consolidation is another one. I like to call it the expectation of 1 + 1. So you buy something, you expect 1 + 1 to equal 3. Or for some of our suppliers, that's 5. And they see that coming from two areas, really. It's synergies and growth. And frankly, if you look at the last 3-4 years, the big six, they're not growing, and they're definitely not growing to the point of the expectations they've set to deliver as far as budgets and growth. So, and synergies can only take you so far, and some have gotten those synergies, but they're not getting necessarily the growth that they would have wanted to see coming out of these big purchases and consolidations, Bayer being one of them and others. And I think Corteva will start to see more and more of that play out on their business as well, because they're really more, they're still in that infant stage, if you will, as far as consolidation. But I believe those are contributing. So if you're not growing market share, then you're going to reevaluate your routes to market. You're going to look at how else can you deliver that in the environment we're in. And, look, grower programs are not new to our industry. So they've been around for a long time. But what I think we're seeing is a shift a little bit in the grower programs, in that the intent of the grower programs now, in my opinion, are intended to impact and influence the grower relationship with the supplier versus more of a discount price adjustment, volume-based program to just drive growth. I think we're seeing what I would call a shift. And that one is, to me, pretty critical. The other piece that I think is the why is digital. There's been a significant increase in the supplier's investment in what is a rapidly evolving segment. And that's heightened the desire to move more direct And I think it's because there's the potential for this artificial intelligence to catch up to decision making and solution oriented approach. And I think that's an area that has, because of that and the digital transformation we're seeing in our industry in general, I think that's also contributing to the suppliers seeing this as an avenue to head down. And again, that shift to the relationship versus just a transactional grower program, and that's a big part of it. And then, frankly, the last one is the seed play. I mean, Corteva, Bayer definitely see that, their position in seed, as a strategic advantage for them versus their competitors. And I think they're playing that card to gain share. So there are others, but those are the ones that I see top of mind as to what's driving the why around. We're seeing more of that. And again, I want to reiterate, grower programs aren't new, but what we're seeing is a shift to be more intent around the relationship from a supplier to the grower and securing that relationship versus just creating a transaction point. So that's important to delineate the difference, I think. Now, the question is, how does that affect our partnerships? Well, I think for us, there's a couple things. We got to be more deliberate and aligned as an organization to deliver our strategy. So the our strategy is critical here. I know that your seed meeting is all about that, BJ. You and the teams are going to talk about what is it that we're going to have to do to be successful in this environment. But frankly, as a whole organization, not just seed, but CP, fertility, everything, we're going to have to continue to be more and more deliberate and aligned in our organization to deliver the strategy and the success we need in the environment we're in. I think the other thing is we're gonna have to start exploring and implementing differential opportunities with suppliers, and that's around developing and executing an integrated value add with our customer base. So what I mean by that is, we're going to have to look at where can we partner, even with those that are going direct. Are there areas that we could partner with them to be successful together? So we're going to have to start maybe thinking a little differently about how that relationship looks and how we partner and what kind of opportunities can we extract moving forward. I think it's going to be important. And then, and the next one is really one that's already underway. We've got Barrett Mooney. We've got others working on this from our strategy. It's in our 5-year plan, is our digital platform in itself. So, the strength we have, BJ, is that we're not locked into one solution. Wilbur Ellis can bring multiple tools, multiple ideas to our customer to drive the success of that customer, to help them overcome challenges and be successful. So with that kind of mindset in mind, because that is a key strength for us, is that we have the ability to bring everything into a solution. That's where we're going to start trying to exploit and strengthen our digital transformation and our digital platform. So bringing all the right pieces together, the art of that, and bringing that technology, whether that's from Cavallo's and things that Troy and the business development team are looking at, or Cavallo can bring into the business, to our own digital platforms and things like that. All of these things, then looking out at what our suppliers have and really trying to build that solution together. I think that's another one that'll play a key part. And frankly, the last one, which is right in line with why we're here and why we're having our seed kickoff meeting, I think the other critical success is that we've got to continue to strengthen and grow at a very high pace our Integra and Harvest Bounty seed brands. So the ability for us to have a Wilbur Ellis solution at the customer that is unique and enables that customer to be successful is great and is critical for us moving forward. Not only does it build that business relationship with our customers, but it builds the trust that we can bring them those solutions. So those are a few areas that come to mind to me kind of why and what's going to be important for us in this landscape moving forward. Hope that makes sense.
Well, here's the multi-billion-dollar question. To extend or not extend, will there be a label in 2021?
Well, if I knew the 100% the answer to that, I'd be putting some money on it. But my thinking right now, BJ, is yes. I do believe the registrations will be there in 21. But I think one of the key things to keep in mind is I do not think the legal pressure around this platform decreases. We saw it from the Ninth Circuit ruling. So if the registrations continue, which I think they will, I think EPA will register them, then the legal pressure surrounding this platform isn't gonna stop, and I think that's going to be constantly under pressure. I think and the other reason why I think that is because BASF and Bayer are absolutely committed to this platform, and they are taking every avenue from a legal perspective and through the EPA and their registrations to have this platform in place moving forward. So, I think they will. I mean, Bayer believes they'll have their registrations in October. I don't know if BASF is thinking that same timeline, but Bayer is. But I do believe they'll have it. I don't think, Corteva has a crop protection play in this, but they're just not as focused, for obvious reasons, to really support that re-registration process. And interestingly enough, Tavium from Syngenta is still registered. It was not part of the court ruling. And so in 21, that crop protection brand is still available in the marketplace. The implications of this uncertainty will play out, BJ, as you well know, in the coming seed selling season. Clearly, we saw the E3 platform build some momentum in 20. There's clearly a demand for that in the market from our customers. And you and I both agree, and I know you'll talk about it in the seed meeting, that's not going to change in 21, and we're going to have multiple seed suppliers in that sector in 21, and I know you guys will talk about that. But there's no doubt that Bayer's going to very aggressively defend their share in this market, and we've already started to see some of that with some of the programs they're introducing to try to, if you will, bridge the seed selling season to when the registrations will probably come, because they've got to defend their seed position and that trait position, and they've got to do everything they can to hold on to share as best they can, and there's no doubt they're going to do that. So I think from my side, I think this meeting is critical, with the team understanding what's that going to look like, how do we navigate in this arena so that we ensure that our customers have the success they need in this, and this uncertainty is, because it will be. And I think that's critical to this week's meeting, and I know the teams will jump in. There's probably going to be what that looks like and what we're doing.
Wow, definitely some changes could be happening or maybe not. Steve, thanks a lot for joining us.
Hey, my pleasure. Have a great seed meeting.
All right, when the seed show rolls on, I've got to write some thank yous. We had a big, good year in 2020. We got to say thank you before we move on to 2021. That's next here on the Seed Show.
Good afternoon to the Wilbur Ellis team. I'm Jerry DeVore, and I lead the Corn States Licensing Account Management team. On behalf of the larger Corn States team that supports BJ, Aaron, and the Integra team, congratulations on your 100 years in business. It is a milestone not many achieve. What many of you may not know, Wilbur Ellis has a much shorter history with Integra and Corn States. Our relationship began in 2005 with the granting of the corn and soybean licenses. In an industry where many brands are celebrating 50, 75, and even 100-year anniversaries, Integra is a relatively young brand with a great opportunity for growth. It's been exciting to see the emphasis the Wilbur Ellis leadership team has focused on growing their seed business in partnership with Bayer. The energy, experience, and leadership that BJ and Aaron have brought to the sales and product sides of the brand have resulted in accelerated growth in spite of some really tough springs the last couple of years in the Wilbur Ellis footprint. The Wilbur Ellis Integra team has certainly put the hammer down. Corn States, along with the rest of the Bayer team, is confident that products like XtendFlex soybeans, XtendiMax herbicide, and soon-to-come products like SmartStax Pro and Short Corn, combined with the leadership and execution of the Wilbur Ellis professionals, promise a bright and growing future for the Bayer-Wilbur Ellis partnership. Again, have a great meeting and congratulations on your 100-year anniversary.
Got an exciting new program for soybeans this year. I think a lot of you guys will like. Buy 2 boxes of Integra soybeans at suggested retail price. Get one of these for free.
My name is David Schubert. We're in Clayburgh County, around Kingsville, Texas. I've been farming in Clayburgh County for 28 years and grown cotton pretty well every year of that 28 years. Farm about 2,200 acres. In many years, cotton is the only crop that we can have the potential to turn a large profit out of. I've chosen to plant Enlist cotton now. It's a very nice tool to get the job done. In South Texas, with our tight windows to spray, I've been able to make Enlist work to kill the weeds I need to. And I choose to plant Enlist cotton because of the resistant pig weeds that we have in the county, and it helps me keep my fields clean. With my experience, I think Enlist does not volatilize, and it's a real easy product to use. I grow phytogen cotton because of the yield I can get out of it, the turnout, the grade, and the ability to kill my resistant pigweed. With the yields that I have experienced and the grades with my phytogen cotton, it is very easy to make a profit on the farm in good years. This year we had a lot of cool weather starting off, and the phytogen varieties that I planted this year came on and made a tremendous yield in a short period of time. I've been well pleased with the new and up-and-coming phytogen variety.
Wow. Since we have to do all this stuff virtually, we don't get a chance in Omaha to hand out our awards. So can't even be next to you to hand you that trophy and shake your hand. So I guess we have to do it COVID-19 style. I'm going to write you some thank yous to those that did extremely well. So before I get started, I got to see if I can't find some good thank you music. Try that. What do you think? This one. Okay. There it is. There it is. That's great thank you music, okay? Get the pen ready. Here we go. Thank you, 2020. And the retirement of Hammer Down. The rally cry we heard over and over and turned into an earworm. Looking forward to Be Aggressive. Thank you. Next thank you. Boy, some of this could get long. Thank you, the ag industry, for always challenging us to carry on in the plight of adversity. Yet, year after year, we strive to do our best. Don't forget, seed as a front porch to the rest of the acre. It's pretty nice, thank you. Huh, not bad. Okay. Who should I write a thank you to? Oh, yeah. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Thank you for a wonderful June and making June forever changing our lives. Signed, Anonymous. I have to do that. All right. Thank you. Weather in 2021 and markets. It's got to get better, right? Signed, everyone. All right. These thank yous are going out pretty well. Now to get more intentional. Thank you to the Great Lakes area. Best year in seed since 2015. Increased strategic brand selling by 15% overall. Sincere thanks to John Ferkowitz, Grant Davidson, Kirk Geldersma, Jacob Hall, Jeff Hattis, Marshall Jenkins. Really writing quick. You may not be able to read this. Tom Kreiner, Mark Leffler, John Rettel, and Rebecca Will. Also, putting up with me in the interim. Thank you. Here we go. Thank you to the Midwest. Increased acres and sales. Prosser, Plattsmouth, Orchard, and Creston added a combined 45,000 units of corn and soybeans in 2020. Thank you. And the final thank you to the Wilbur Ellis Company for 100 years of business and opportunity. For a family-run company, simply amazing. Looking forward to celebrating with you in 2021. Thank you. All right, our thank you notes are done. When we come back, we'll recap and wrap things up. You are watching The Seed Show.
Best deals with Integra Seed? Pay in cash, get 25% off SRP. Second best deal with Integra Seed is 0% financing with John Deere and get 20% off SRP. These deals are good all year, so let's be aggressive.
Integra loves its loyal customers so much that we fortify our relationship by tucking an extra $10 discount on every bag of corn and $3 on every soybean unit. Hurry, this offer is only good until November 15th.
Here's the new Integra Seed Corn Customer Program. You must buy 24 units or more. For Double Pro SRP, less $90 equals your price. For Smart Stacks SRP, less $110, that equals your price. That's it. That's the offers. Now go be aggressive.
Got an exciting new program for soybeans this year. I think a lot of you guys will like. Buy 2 boxes of Integra soybeans at suggested retail price. Get one of these for free.
Wow, this went flying by, and I can tell you firsthand, it's not easy doing a virtual kickoff meeting. There's no question. I would rather be with you in Omaha getting you ready for the 2021 seed sales season. But unfortunately, the circumstances that they are, we're here. We've got to make the best of it. And when you think about being the best, we can literally be the best at Wilbur Ellis by hitting the front porch to the rest of the acre, which is seed. We have to, number one, be visiting with our loyal best customers right now out in the field, making our prospect list, and then being ready to go with a concise opportunity for them to take advantage of right now. It's going to be competitive. No question, with storms that hit Iowa and Illinois and Indiana earlier this month, seed production in corn is going to be down. Plus, when you think about where the markets are right now, everybody is saying it's going to be a high soybean year. We've got the supply, no matter what the trade is. So it's time for us to put it all together, have an attractive package early. We have 0% financing through John Deere. Some of our companies that we offer, we have 0% financing through Rabo. We can make a compelling offer right now to get stuff locked in for 2021 because, believe it or not, we still need to feed this world, and farmers are gonna farm. So let's be aggressive and go out there and attack it. Appreciate you tuning in today. I sure hope this helps and get you ready for 2021. Don't forget, coming up this afternoon, we have our regional breakouts, and then tomorrow it's all about agronomy. Then it's up to us to make it happen here for 2021. Thanks to all the guests who joined us here today, and thank you for watching. Have a very pleasant, good day.